Better not fuck this up. What were you expecting? Hello friends, I'm Jared, formerly known as Snizze, and I enjoy talking, so let me talk about something near and dear to my heart. I imagine it's a subject that is important to everyone in the reality of the situation. That is identity. Like a lot of people, identity is something I've really struggled with. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover, and it's great advice, but to be blunt, we're all really quick to judge, especially from a distance. And that's why first impressions matter so much, because it's your chance to defy any assumptions made about you. I'm preaching to the choir, but appearances matter a lot. Regardless, I've always had an interesting relationship with first impressions because I fall into this category of ethnically ambiguous. It's because of hearing that and other similar statements that I even got into MapleStory. It is a Korean game, and it did help me feel more Korean. And I know that probably sounds strange, but if you've ever felt out of place where you were surrounded by people that you thought you belonged with or among, then you probably understand where I'm coming from. And that feeling of disconnection, it's a feeling that made me feel ashamed of who I was. And it's hard because shame is not really an emotion you can ignore. It's an emotion that you have to process. And that's really difficult. So looking back, it's understandable why I felt that way. I did feel the pain of not belonging, and I did have to grieve an identity that was not me. And unfortunately, fortunately for all that, I have more perspective from it. However unfortunate that surrounding was. So to remove any ambiguity, I'm mixed. I'm yellow, black, and white. I think I'm a prime example of America's melting pot, if I do say so myself. And growing up, I didn't have a single cohesive community to call my own, or a culture to connect with. And that really does make it hard to feel like you fit in anywhere. I used to say I'm vaguely Asian. Nowadays, I think the better term is just American. And don't get me wrong, I love my Korean heritage. It's why I found MapleStory in the first place. It is a Korean game after all. And not to mention, the food was and is still a big part of my life. I also know my desire for structure and punctuality, and not to mention my insatiable sweet tooth, comes from the German side. I also know my love of dancing and music, definitely and 100% from the black side. It's also the part of my culture I've lost the most connection to. And all of this is to say is identity wasn't something I realized I was questioning for so long. I've had to come to accept my identity isn't the same as my parents, my siblings, or anyone else's. It's mine, and it's something I'll continue exploring, likely for the rest of my life, and I'm sure you will too. Though the lesson I've learned thoroughly is that if you don't understand yourself, who will? So, as someone who tends to internalize things way too much, it feels good, really, really good, to finally be able to say that I know myself exceptionally well even. How well do you know yourself? Regardless, thank you for watching and hopefully listening. I've got a couple things to share before I go. I'm not going to lock myself into a strict upload schedule because that just doesn't work, but I do have some plans. I'm working on some things. I was also recently hospitalized and I medically withdrew from the past semester. I'll be heading back to school in the fall with a renewed timeline and some new expectations. But in the meantime, I'm job hunting, making connections, and managing my health. Part of that is creative outlets, as they're a great way to help keep me from crashing out. And for those of you that noticed me log into MapleStory, because of course you did, let me get ahead of some of those questions. No, I didn't quit MapleStory forever. I think we all knew that wasn't an option. I have no idea how long I'll be back, especially as consistently as I am. And I don't intend to chase endgame again. I've already been there, I've done that. I've already proven I'm the best to ever do it. I have no reason to prove it again. Regardless, I'll leave you with one last piece of information, I guess. Stop being a wannabe and just be someone they want to be. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Am I meant to be here? It says bring a gift, so I brought something along for the newborn. Is that fine?
I bring tequila to baby showers, preaching for roughly 80 hours. I'm not the life of the party, parties didn't exist till I was alive. Maybe it's a boo speaking, but I feel like this life is too easy. I wrote this verse while taking a shit, I'll perform it on stage and I'll say it's a king. My skills from a different nebula. Impress my mum on a regular. They write checks, I write verses. Say I'm the shit on the street, I'm thirsty. Early, box like a man in his prime, I'm 30. Hear one song and they're thirsty for more. In Malaysia, Australia, they hurt me, I'm sure. Give me a few minutes and I'll sell a world tour.